Yo, Crowie here, or the Miggity Mac Daddy. You know what I'm talking about. Just look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a little woof woof, and say, I am the big dog. I am the only dog. I am a dog. I am the top dog. Chances are you're listening to this podcast because you're a business owner or you want to be a business owner in the electrical industry, or you're listening just because, and in that's the case, welcome. Thanks for coming along for the ride, for the journey, for the pilgrimage, for the climbing of the mountain. But just want to highlight, the big thing you hear us say around here all the time is, it's your business and it's your culture. So just want you to, wherever you are, and, business gives you ups and downs and rounds and pros and cons, and, the lows can be real low and the lows can be really lonely as well. And there's nothing quite worse than low and lonely, unless you're Little John. But he's probably getting low, but he's not lonely, if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm saying. A little bit of non-PG related activity going on behind the scenes, or BTS. But yeah, it gets low and lonely sometimes, and sometimes you've just gotta snap yourself back into it, and just be like, I'm going to take back control. I'm going to take back control of what I can control, of what I can manage, of what I can, what I have the power over. And a lot of times that is sort of exercising for yourself, taking back that time to spend, 45 minutes a weekday or whatever, and going like, no, I'm going to put myself back in the spot and look after myself. A lot of times it's eating well. Maybe you got to throw that chicken burger out the window. Maybe you got to check that McDonald's rubbish beneath your feet and be like, why am I stepping on so much rubbish? I remember one day an apprentice getting in my car and he just opens the door and just coffee cups on rubbish, on half-eaten pastrami sandwiches, on hot chips, on cockroaches, ants. Maybe there was an animal in there. I'm not even sure what was in there. And it just fell, and we both just laughed. And as well, things need to change. Something needs to change. And I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I remember I had this big sort of light bulb moment. You know those moments you have when that light bulb goes off, and you just go, oh my gosh, I can see something that I never saw before. And in my case, I was just sort of a bit woe is me, a bit sort of head down, a bit, this sucks and business sucks, and yeah, maybe I could have done this better, and I should have done this, and I used to be able to throw a football over these mountains, and now I can't, and I should have invested in commercial property, and what if I just didn't do that point, and what if I did this, and what if I changed that? And those times when you get like, ugh. And sometimes when you're in those low times, it's amazing what keeps coming up, like, oh, we roughed in that, oh, I should have done, oh, coulda, oh, woulda, and it's just can, get low, and just keep getting lower and lower. And I remember just walking along, and I swear this external voice just came to me. It might have been the trade gods, for all I know. And wherever you are, I would just encourage you to sacrifice a pair of pliers, sacrifice an impactor, sacrifice some side cutters, sacrifice some time, sacrifice some energy, sacrifice something to the trade gods, because they give us everything and nothing more, everything we need and nothing we don't. And I remember just this voice came to me, potentially from the trade gods, and it just said, shut up and perform at a high level. Just shut up and perform at a high level. And sometimes, it's really important to listen to yourself and how you feel and all that kind of stuff, and check in with yourself. I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying sometimes you got to shake off the negatives. Sometimes you got to dust off the could'ves. Sometimes you got to throw away the should'ves. And sometimes you've just got to wipe off the what might have been, and just be like, this is where I'm at. And the reality is you can't move forward from somewhere you're not at. So if you just embrace wholly where you're at this point, and be like, all right, I'm gonna just get it done. I'm gonna make it happen. And then I was said at the start of the potty, you are the top dog, you are the big dog, woof woof, woofity woofity woofity. You got to make it happen. And there's no in my experience, there's no greater like working for yourself is a big responsibility, right? Of course it is, and there's a lot to take on, but there's nothing safer, in my opinion, than having your destiny in your hands, right? If you went back, and I think ask yourself the question, sometimes you see people, you sit with people, and they're like, oh, I think I'm ready to throw in the towel. I think I'm ready to throw in the towel. Like your like your Mike Tyson, like in his heavyweight bout. And it's, a lot of things just aren't as serious as you think they are. A lot of things aren't going to matter in 5 years, and a lot of times we just shouldn't sweat the small stuff. But if you're feeling like throwing in the towel, you wouldn't be alone. But I think it's time to go like, okay, sweet, what then? If you're going to engage down that neuro pathway, if you're going to send your thoughts that way, if you're going to consistently be that woe is me, if you're going to consistently be on the giving up pathway, if you're going to consistently be at the pub going, just one more bad staff member, that's it, I've had enough. If you're going to be sitting there having a beer with your mate going like, yeah, this person hasn't paid their invoices. And, sometimes we've just got to be like, okay, what do you want to do then? Do you want to go work for someone else? And I think you've got to make that decision, because like I went from business owner, lord mayor, head honcho, top dog, sold that business, came up to Byron, and actually was an employee for another company for a little bit. And let me tell you, it was like, it has its pros, it had a lot of cons. a lot of cons. Those of you that know me and know me well would know there was lots of cons. And I just think like there's nothing scarier than in my head than someone else being in charge of your sort of destiny, and someone else being able to be like, you know what, we don't really need you anymore, or you know what, like we're gonna cut your pay in half, or you know what, we're gonna do this, or you know what, we're changing direction, you know what we're doing. And it's like, that's actually, the employee life feels safe from a distance, but it's not safe. It's possibly the antithesis of safe. What's safe in my head is going like, I'm going to grip it and rip it, right? Zoolander style. I'm just going to be like, let's get this thing done. Let's embrace it. Let's embrace the fact that we're going to need some staff around us, and let's embrace the fact that there's going to be some really amazing clients and some not so great clients. But if we're on a journey to sort of consistently get rid of the bottom tier and consistently add to the top tier and consistently work out what we're good at, and if you're like, I just think you've just got to be like, are you in or are you out? And if you're in, let's go. And if you're out, that's cool too. You make your own sort of choices here, and there's no right or wrong. But what I'm saying to those people is what I'm saying to you guys is that don't be lukewarm. Don't be like half in, half out, or a gentle breeze comes and knocks you in, and then a gentle breeze comes and knocks you out, and a gentle breeze comes and knocks you, and you're really positive and pumped up. And I think this is where things like looking after yourself and eating well and exercising, all that kind of stuff really, really plays into it. I would encourage you to do something little. Like, what's something little you can do? Maybe it's pick the kids up if you've got kids. If you don't have kids, don't pick someone else's kids up. That's like jail activity. That's jail level activity. Do not turn up to some school and just be like, hey kids, come with me. That's super weird and kind of creepy. And I'm just going to call it what it is. That's hyper illegal. Let's just not do that. In your non-sign written van. Nah, don't do that. What are we talking about? I've lost myself down a dark train of thoughts. But what I'm saying is, what's something that fills your cup? And it might be, I'm going to pick the kids up on a Monday afternoon or a Friday afternoon and get some ice cream, or drop the kids off at this point. It might be the fact that, hey, I'm going to surf every Tuesday morning. I'm going to do jiu-jitsu in front of a mirror on Friday night. I don't really care what it is, but like, what are you doing for yourself? Because if you're in a good headspace, chances are you're performing at work well. And when you've got that, if you've got that mindset, and this is sort of like the point I wanted to get to in this podcast, is that the money's made or lost in the office, right? The money's made or lost in the office. I stole that from my old boss, who's an absolute legend. And you'll hear me say that a lot. Like, the money's made or lost in the office. And the money's made or lost when, what I'm trying to say is when you're working on the business and not in the business. Classic coaching cliche line, insert generic line item here. Work on the business, not in the business. Man, coaching companies piss me off so much. Probably should just go on a rant like at some point about that and about how often I think they're paid in the client's best interest but not operating in the client's best interest. But that's neither here nor there. I don't really want to get into that right now. It'll send me down a deeper wormhole than the non-sign written van. But yeah, going into it, The money's made a lot in the office. The office is where you contact new clients. The office is where you set your hourly rates and predict your, not predict, but forecast your future. Predict if you're Tim Bailey, maybe, but forecast if you're part of Sparky Coach. Forecast your future, check your billable hours, and just go, okay, did the carpet match the drapes on that one? What could have I done differently? The office is where you get your variations sent out, your invoices sent out, your quotes sent out, and it's just where it's the motor room, it's the engine room, that's what you need to run a successful business. And so many of us get caught up in the business, like on the tools, and not prioritizing our office time or office days, and in turn the business fails, and then we complain at the pub that the business is failing, when in fact it's failing because we're working in it, not on it. So I would challenge everyone, I would encourage everyone, no matter what you're currently doing in the office, double it, right? I want to get you home and double up, That's Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. If you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock for the last 40 years and didn't have a Sir Mix-a-Lot tattoo on your lower back, but challenge you right now, double dare ya, Billy Madison style, right? I double dare ya, right? Can you double your office time? And sitting with people, I'm like, if you're starting out, you need a day a week in the office, and chances are that day needs to be a full day where you don't leave, and chances are that day needs to be clinical, organized, predictable, because it's amazing when a switchboard upgrade comes up, you don't miss that. But when an office day comes up, you're like, I could put something else there. Why? It's because you have a foundational belief system that's absolutely well and truly 100% cooked. You think the money's made or lost on site. It's not. It's not. It doesn't matter how good you are on site. If you've misquoted the job, you've got no hope. You've got diddly squat. You've got no chance. There's no option for you to make money because you cooked the quote in the office at 10 o'clock with a beer in your hand, telling your partner you were really busy when the quote should have taken 45 minutes, but it took you 8 hours and 7 beers later, right? Or kombuchas later, or something later. Doesn't have to be a beer. That's just me talking the language. But it's like, I would challenge you, set aside a full office day if you're just starting out. Put it on Fridays. That's where I get the invoices done, quotes done, this done, get back to people, right? You miss 100% of the quotes you don't send out. And it's amazing. Let me say that again. You miss 100% of the quotes you don't send. That's the rules. If you don't send it, you can't win it. If you don't get back to people, they can't be a client. And it's amazing when you get busy, how much it just basically, it's the circle of life. Elton John style, Lion King style, right? It's a circle of life. The rules are so... You know the words, Elton John. What God's gift to the music industry, right? But you know the rules. Like, if you get busy in that cycle, or that washing machine or that dryer go round and round, all of a sudden you can land yourself where you're not busy. This is not just applicable to soul traders or one or two man or woman bands. This is applicable to anyone at any stage. We've all been busy, quiet, busy, quiet, busy, quiet. When you're busy, what's the first thing that goes out the window? Probably getting back to people and getting quotes back on time, because you're busy. You don't need it, right? You don't need it because you don't need it. And you're thinking in the moment, in the business, so to speak, and not thinking in the future. And when you're thinking on the future, what are you doing? You're working on the business. So it's like, I would challenge you, double your admin time, because the money's made or lost in the office, and you're on a one-way trajectory to off the tools. Off the tools is like, it's like a glamorized metaverse that sucks if you've done it wrong. It's awesome if you've done it right, and it genuinely sucks and can be detrimental if you've done it incorrectly. Classic example, sitting at the pub with someone and going, I used to work for myself, had a couple of staff members, and it was cooked, man. It just sucked. And you're like, tell me more, Grease style. Tell me more, like did you off the tools, right? And you're like, this is just, tell me everything. And you're like, life sucks, and this sucks, and that sucks. And it's like, no, you just cooked the formula. That's all you did. You put too much salt in the pasta, and it tastes bad. You overcook the pasta, and it's bad. Like, you didn't follow the formula, and you got off the tools, which sounds fantastic when you're telling your friends, but if the math is wrong, and the motive is wrong, it can result in detrimental activity that can sink businesses. But when the math is correct and the motive is correct, and make no mistake, the motive is probably getting some time and money back in your life and your business and spending quality time with the people you love, doing the things that you love. That's fine. I want you to just reconcile that right now. Like, that's a good thing. That's a healthy motivation. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you can do that and combine that with looking after people, being nice to people, being kind to people, helping out in your community and doing good things, in and around everyone around you, that's sick. Like, that's genuinely awesome. And we would really that's probably the goal in a nutshell. But back to what I was saying, double your admin time and watch your business double. Because that's where it's going to happen. That's where the magic is made in the office. That's where the money is made. And that's where, when you get that, what we call it on time, you get that time working on the business. And I remember, the start of this year, I set aside some on time. So this year, I'm just going to focus up on time on the business. And, I think it was for 4 hours a week, and quickly realized, oh my gosh, I need to double this ASAP, right? I need to get you home and double up, So Mix-a-Lot, double mention on the So Mix-a-Lot. What a fantastic time to be alive. But it's just you got to double it. And it's like, the more time you spend on the business, the more you're going to realize, holy crap, like, that job was cooked because I didn't have a process for that, because I didn't develop a process for it, or that job was mishandled because they didn't have the job notes, or I'm running around dropping things, picking things up, checking in, checking back out, checking back in, checking across, checking back. I've got the right work and I've got the wrong people on site because the schedule's cooked because I'm busy. And it's like, you have to change. You have to change that. The money's made or lost in the schedule, right? In the office, and the schedule's done in the office, or the schedule's done on a computer or whatever. But I sat with someone yesterday who shall remain nameless, like Voldemort or Bob Saget, although Bob Saget is definitely not nameless. Great show, that Full House. But I sat with someone yesterday, and we went through like the billable hours checking, and it was psycho. Like, we're just watching this like almost ordained formula come up, and it was like every service and maintenance day when they were traveling was landing at about 85% efficient due to a number of reasons. It was slightly underquote, bit of undercooked travel fee. It was probably estimated best case scenario in 15-minute increments when it probably should have been half an hour increments. And it was not filling that last gap of the day with the no more gaps. Like, oh yeah, it's cool guys, finish early, go home. While it's nice to be a nice boss, it's also very important to get billable hours in, right? If you're getting 30 instead of 40 and you're $100 an hour, that's essentially $1,000 a week, 50 grand a year, cooked in the fry pan, sacrificed to the trade gods, not knowingly and unknowingly and unwillingly. So it's like, it doesn't take much for these little things to iron out. So we sat there looking at it going, holy crap, consistent trend here, 85 to 92% on the service and maintenance days. We've got to change. So now we're going to change. And that change is going to result in about $60,000 to $70,000 extra for a year, right? $60,000, $70,000. It's hard to make, easy to lose. Let me say that again. Hard to make, easy to lose. It's amazing how easily you can lose money when you're not checking if it's coming in or not. It's amazing how, like, you can have the sickest price book that's like, oh, 4 PowerPoints at $150, $600. That was so easy. Quote got delivered in 60 seconds over the phone. Quote accepted. Quote 1, we'll do the job on Tuesday. But if you don't measure that job, you'll never know if it worked or not. And this is another thing, and this is what we picked up. We saw this one day, and it was like, I just say it. I'm not naming the person, but it's just kind of funny, and it's amazing. We've all done it. We're all guilty of it to some extent. It was a 24-pole metal board upgrade, so plastic to metal, 12 circuits in it, right? So just like, I know you're the best Sparky going round, and I know you're the world's greatest, quickest, fastest, and everyone's envious of your ability, but just go with me here. And if you don't judge if you haven't been there, right? So in this case, it was 10 hours on site for a tradie plus an additional 7 for a head tradie. So if you're doing the math in your head, you're like, that's too much time spent there. Like, you would have quoted that at probably like 8 hours, one person thinking they're done pretty quickly, right? But this has spent 17 hours on this job, and the job's completed. And what happened? Go with me here, go with me here, go with me here, go with me here. What happened was it was the right job and it was the right client, but we were busy and we sent the wrong person to the job. Right job, right client, wrong person. And the wrong person, it's amazing how much when you're busy, what do? You start to send people to jobs that are a bit above their pay grade, a bit above their ability, a bit outside of their jurisdiction, a bit outside of their skill set, a bit above what they can handle, or you send people to jobs to plug holes, fill gaps. And it's just amazing when you sit on top of the business and measure your hours. Like, you can piece this stuff together really quick. What did the guy I was measuring things with goes, this is just like one of those, like, this is just highlighting everything I need to do. So we sat there for an hour, and that 1 hour will hopefully produce 50, 60, 70,000 extra dollars in their business. Now they're aware of what to look for. And it's crazy, right? Like, and we're talking about this and we're going through it, and I was like, this measuring the hours situation and cross-referencing your hours to your invoicing, this is probably going to take you, I don't know, you personally at this stage, this is the stage of business they're at, it's going to take you about an hour a week to sort of, once it's prepared by someone else, to go through. So if I paid you $1,000 a week for an hour's worth of work, would you do it? And like, yeah, okay, cool. So do this, because we're losing $1,000 a week by not spending this 1 hour. So it's just amazing how easy money can come in sometimes and how easy money can go out. I think you'll find, if you've ever been, and you'll go with me here, if you've ever been going like, I made $2,000 today, $5,000 today, $10,000 today, whatever, like insert number here, it's kind of irrelevant. You know, where's that money at the end of the year? So many people are like, oh yeah, did really good in that job, earned an extra $1,000. And it's like, okay, sweet. So where is the money at the end of the year? And what's happening is it's coming in easily on certain jobs, and we're losing it just as easy on other jobs that we need to change. We need to stop, we need to collaborate and listen. Yes, that was a Vanilla Ice reference, if you didn't know. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Crowie's back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Lots of song references in this today. I hope you're enjoying this. But you need to change. You need to go that the money is made or lost in the office when we sit at the top of the pyramid scheme of your business, looking down, and we're like, okay, what do we need to change to make sure this building grows straight, to make sure this building goes profitable? What do you need to change? Now, my challenge to you, double your admin time and put it in work hours. Put it in work hours, because you're going to be a lot better off with a coffee in your hand than a kombucha in your hand or a beer in your hand at night time, right? You're much more productive at 8 a.m. with a coffee than 8 p.m. with some kind of pale ale or vino straight out of the streets of Tuscany. Now, here's my challenge. What fills your cup? What fills your cup? What fills your cup? What can you do for yourself this week? Exercise for you guys should be a non-negotiable. If you're too busy to exercise, you're pretty much too busy. Exercising takes a number of, when you've got a newborn baby, exercising is probably pushing a pram down the street. When exercising can be surfing, yoga, Pilates, it can be walking, it can be running, it can be jujitsu. It can be lots of things, but it can't be work. You need time where you're working on yourself and you're feeling better about yourself, and you're feeling energized in yourself, and you've got that time away from the business where you can think about it, right? So so exercise, look after yourself this week. What's something else you can do? Maybe you finish at 4 and get ice cream on Fridays with the kids. Maybe you surf on Monday morning. Maybe you do something like I was saying before. All good, but pick it and do it. Maybe you play golf on a Thursday afternoon with a couple of people. Grip it and rip it, pick it and stick it, get that thing in place. Once you get these larger rocks in place, like your admin days in place, your exercises in place, then you start to fill some gaps around that. What's going to happen is you're going to notice pretty quickly, I'm spending too much time on the tools, I'm spending too much time driving around, I'm spending too much time quoting this job that shouldn't really take that long. Okay, let's stop and change. Okay, sweet, I might need to hire an admin person. I'm too busy on the tools, I'm going to hand those hours to someone else. Okay, that job was cooked. Why? We mishandled it. Why? I didn't spend enough time on site starting them off. Okay, sweet. I'm going to now make sure that I'm there for the first 4 hours. look at this big project we've got coming up. I need every Monday there. I'm going to open the laptop, 5, type some numbers, right? That was a Rush Hour reference if you didn't know, when he's pretending to dial that old phone. Heaps funny. Look up Joe Pesky, Chris Rock, Rush Hour phone. You're going to like that one. But it's amazing what you can do when like I remember going to site on certain jobs and the open, and it's billable. You're billing your time because you're actually working on that job, whether it's sending variations, ordering materials, organizing the week's worth of work, writing back to emails, that kind of stuff. That can be billable time, aka project management, on costed to the end user. But we can only see this stuff when we pull ourselves out of the pyramid scheme, out of moving the blocks, on top of the pyramid scheme, and look at it and be like, okay, what do I need to do next? So what do you need to do next? I'm going to challenge you to double your admin time, and I'm going to also challenge you to make sure you're exercising, of course, but what else can you do for yourself or for your partner that's super cool, that's going to give you energy, that's going to give you pleasure, that's going to give you purpose, that's going to give you meaning, and I think that's the coolest thing ever. You know, when your business is functioning at a high level and when your business is performing financially, it's amazing the lifestyle that can bring with that. So don't get wrapped up in the washing machine. Get out of that thing and look after yourself. So hopefully you learned something today. And don't forget, closing this meeting, podcast, whatever you want to call it, closing this out, I'm going to say this. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the money is made or lost in the office. The money is made or lost in the office. The money is made or lost in the office. The magic happens in the office. Don't miss your opportunity to create magic. Don't miss your opportunity to create something of purpose, something of value, something that can be an asset to help generations upon generations upon generations. Thanks for hanging out. Be blessed. Look at yourself one more time in the mirror. Give yourself a big woofity woofity. I'll see you soon.